Hey Pearls, do you want to talk about meal planning? Because you guys all know that I am a huge meal planning nerd. And guess what is extra special about today's video? It is actually going to be a live Q&A that I'm recording on Instagram. So the phone's right here if you see me looking. But I am answering all of your guys' questions. So if you're not already following me on Instagram, here's my little handle right here. Go over to Instagram and follow me. And the Q&As are totally based off of the questions you guys are requesting. So earlier this morning, I put out a post on Instagram, took all of your questions, and then the most common question is the one I'm gonna be answering for you guys tonight, which has to do all about meal planning, how to customize meal planning to fit your family's needs and help you save the most money possible. When it was just hubby and I, we were spending over $1,000 a month on food alone, which is insane considering now we don't spend more than $400 a month on food, and that's for our family of 5. So I'm gonna hop on Instagram and I'll get started. Pearls, we're live! Our first official weekly Instagram live is starting now. No one's on here yet, but that is okay. So I want to welcome you guys. I've been really giddy all day. I've been really excited to start doing these lives. I think it's going to be so fun to be able to come on here and answer live one-on-one in a way with you guys here on Instagram. I'm also recording up here on my camera for YouTube. So anyone that misses the live and doesn't get to see it within the 24 hours on Instagram, you'll be able to have it here on YouTube. So if I'm looking back and forth, you guys know I'm talking to Instagram, and Instagram knows I'm talking to YouTube as well. So we're doing this so everyone can learn from each other. I want to thank everyone that put their suggestions and questions down in the on my most recent Instagram post, and that was so helpful. I really appreciate it. It gave me lots of ideas on things to talk about today, and we can use it for future reference as well. But I plan on doing this, like I said, every Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So welcome you guys, welcome. I'm so excited that everyone is here joining in live, which is the best way to join in because then you guys actually get to have your questions answered right here. Hello from Australia. That is so exciting. I love the internet, that it just makes the world so small. Isn't that just one of the coolest things? All right, so I have a timer going. I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time, and I want to make sure that I answer as many questions as possible. So let's dive in. So one of the main questions I saw, and there was actually two different topics that you guys were asking a lot about, and one was freezer cooking and 2 was meal planning. I thought that we'd talk about meal planning first and then move in to freezer cooking maybe next week if you guys be interested in that. Hey from Tennessee. Okay, let's see. Kids are almost sleeping. Okay, our kids are in bed. I don't think they're asleep. We usually try to have them in at 7, but we're still adjusting to living far away from everything. So we are taking our time getting everything figured out. All the waves. Hi, you guys. I'm so excited. From Saskatchewan. Hello. Illinois. Sick baby in bed. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. So let's talk about meal planning. I'm a huge meal planning nerd. Huge. Like, I just love everything about it. And let me tell you guys really quickly why I've become such a big meal planning nerd. Because I didn't used to. And it would have made my life easier. I used to, so before Kennedy was born, I was working full time. And then even up until her first birthday, I was working full time. Hey, Michelle. Hi from Los Angeles. Hello, you're not too far from us. Thank you. This was off of jane.com. Anyways, so before, and I was working full time and I never meal planned, and I'd come home so stressed out. I meal plan for a month now because of your videos. Yes! Meal planning month by month, I swear it saves you so much sanity, so much money, all of that kind of stuff. So back to the story is that I wasn't meal planning, and I would just come home stressed out, or I'd start trying to think of things to cook for dinner on the way home, and then add having kids on top of everything. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Danielle. Adding kids on top of coming home after working full time was just so stressful. Hence, hubby and I used to eat out all the time before we had kids, and then probably even more after we had Kennedy. How much do you guys think, or maybe you already know if you've read some of the posts, how much do you guys think we spent on food? How much do you guys think we spent on food when we were eating out, when I wasn't meal planning? So either we would eat out all the time. Thanks, Danielle, you guys are so nice. We'd eat out all the time, or I would go to the grocery store like multiple times a week. And you guys know what happens, right? When you go to the grocery store multiple times a week without a meal plan, without a set grocery list, what happens? You guys, you keep impulse buying, right? So you go in for bread and milk, but you come out with bread, milk, and Oreos, and popcorn, and all these fresh produce maybe, because you're like, oh, I'm gonna eat healthy. So you go in and buy all this stuff. So maybe it is healthy and maybe it's worthwhile, but you don't have a meal plan to go along with it. So what ends up happening is all of this fresh produce and all this yummy food that you have at home ends up going to waste. I would throw out so much fun. I should just pitch a tent in the grocery parking lot. I know how you feel because I would do it all the time. I'd run to the store on my lunch break at work. Anyway, so I saw all of your guys' questions. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. So I would go to the grocery store multiple times a week, and I was wasting so much food, wasting so much money. So we were spending well over $1,000 a month. Well over $1,000 a month. Well, the good news is if you're in that same situation, that there's hope. There is hope. You guys, the good news is that usually the biggest part in anyone's budget, so if you're having a hard time sticking to your budget, if you're constantly overspending, if you're constantly getting overdraft fees, those overdraft fees are what we would get all the time. If you guys are having that same problem, let's talk about meal planning, because meal planning is what helps our family save thousands of dollars. We do not spend more than $400 a month on food now. That's it. Family of 5. We do have younger kids, and I anticipate as our kids turn into growing little young men and teenagers that our budget's gonna have to go up, and but I know that we can still get it pretty close, and we're just gonna have to be a little bit, change things around. And so that's what I hope you guys can take from this, is that you see how one family is doing it, learn, pick things that work for your family, adjust it, and mold it to what's gonna work best for you guys. So, meal planning, it's not that hard, it's not that complicated, and I even have a free printable. You guys, probably a lot of you guys already have it. Oh, look, I think I can put it in the comments right here. I'm gonna try doing it. I love meal planning, but then my kids want different meals. So frustrating. Yeah, our kids probably don't get, hold on, I'm gonna see if I can pin this. Here we go. Okay, so that link that I put right there, it should be pinned to the top now, is to this free printable meal plan. So I'm gonna, this is exactly what our family uses every single week to meal plan and to help us stay on budget. So it's a meal planning on a budget toolkit, and you guys can get it totally for free. Can't have different meals for different family members. Amen to that. So, oh, that's what I was gonna say. Our kids are now 7. Today's Kennedy's birthday. 7, he's almost 5, and then 2.5. So talk about picky eaters. So I try to have one thing on the table that I know the kids will always eat, whether it's bread or rice. That's kind of our filler. And then sometimes I will give them fruit. But a lot of times if I give them fruit, they just fill up on fruit. So I might bring the fruit out later after I try to get them to have a couple bites of our meal, but we make one meal for the family and that's it. And if they don't want to eat it, that's okay. They can fill up on, you know, whatever. Maybe it's not the healthiest option, but that's what's working for our family. Anyway, I can download that as a Word doc instead of a PDF. I can't figure out how to edit it to put it, to put in my own meal ideas. Okay, so this is what I do with ours. I just save it as a PDF. And then what I do is I upload the images. You can save it. Yeah, so I just upload the images to Canva, and then I just do text overlays. That's all I do. How do you transition into monthly meal planning? I can do weekly, but having a hard time transitioning into monthly meal planning. Okay, great question. You guys, I get so excited about meal planning, and I love all the questions coming in. Okay, so let's start with weekly and kind of talk about how I make sure that we stick on a budget, and then we'll talk about how we transition into monthly, and hopefully I can explain it all in 30 minutes or less. Okay, so let's go. So if you guys are putting in questions right now, I'm gonna try to talk through this, and then when I can refocus on the comments, I'll try to answer anything that I didn't cover already. I first started by doing 2 weeks at a time. Yes, Michelle, that's exactly what I did. So I started weekly meal planning, which we'll talk about in just a second. And then, oh, excuse me, my problem was I felt like I was constantly meal planning. Like I would start and do 1 week's meal plan, and by the time I had my meal plan together and I did my grocery shopping, it was like time to start planning next week's meal plan. So that's the main reason why I started doing bi-monthly meal planning, so 2 weeks at a time. And then I realized how convenient that was, and then I started to notice that I wasn't going to the grocery store as much, and then I started to realize that I was saving even more money on top of the money I was already saving by just simply meal planning. So then I bumped it up to monthly, and it saves me so much time, so much stress. I'm a batch doer, does that make sense? So anything I can do in batches, I do in batches. So I do all my laundry in one day. I do all of my like weekly planning in one day, or monthly planning in one day. Anything that I can cluster, like all of my church responsibilities, if I can, like doing lessons and that kind of stuff, I'll try to do it in one day. It just makes my brain work a little bit better. Okay, so weekly meal planning. I only meal plan, and I really recommend this, 5 meals a week. 5 meals a week, that's it. And this is why I only do 5 meals a week, because I started to realize, okay, I had this meal plan, but we are throwing away so many leftovers. So we do eat a lot of leftovers for lunches. That's where we kind of save money there. But you are my inspiration. Thanks, Michelle. So, oh, what was I saying? Oh, 5 meals. So we usually have, even though we're eating leftovers for lunches, batch planners unite. Yes, Amberly, totally. So, oh, I just want to read all the comments, so I keep getting so distracted. Okay, I'm going to focus on this, come back to the comments in just a second. Okay, 5 meals a week. So we have 5 planned meals a week. At least one night, we usually just kind of go through the fridge and I just throw things together. A lot of recipes that I use to do that would be like a lot of pastas. You can just like whip up a sauce, or maybe I already have a can of sauce in somewhere, and then throw whatever veggies or meats are left in on the pasta. Or a stir fry, that's another thing that I do a lot of leftover meals with. Or like Mexican meals, like you can throw pretty much any meat into some sort of like Mexican casserole or tacos. Like you could do any sort of tacos, that kind of stuff. Make really good meals for using up leftovers. So if you are finding that you are not having leftovers, make your meals bigger. Plan into your meals to either double it if you have a big family, or triple it. I would even say, it sounds like you're going to be spending more money, but it really doesn't cost that much more money to make your meal a little bit bigger and plan for leftovers. Maybe your family doesn't like leftovers. Well, you can teach them to like leftovers. See what you can do to kind of entice them a little bit. I used to really not like leftovers, but when we started to get kind of serious about, super serious about paying off our debt, finding ways to cut our spending, that was one of the ways, is we were wasting so many leftovers. So plan your meals big enough to have leftovers. You're cooking 5 nights a week. Well, maybe not necessarily, but you're having 5 meals, at-home meals a week, a leftover meal at least once a week. And then for the 7th night, a lot of times we find that maybe we go over to family or friends' houses, or we have family and friend come over to our house, and then in that case, I'm not making an entire meal. I'm maybe just doing like a side, or maybe I am doing a meat, so I will plan in like a 6th dinner for that week. But I mean, usually I can just find something in my kitchen. So and then again, if that's not the case, maybe we'll do something. So that's 6 meals. So we're talking about the 7th meal for the week, whether it's friends and family night, or I'll do something like breakfast, because usually you don't really need to plan ahead for breakfast. We'll have like eggs, pancakes, waffles, French toast, muffins, fruit and yogurt, that kind of thing. We just have one of those, a really easy meal for the 7th meal, or it's date night. So the kids get a box of mac and cheese, and hubby and I get to use our fun budget and go out to dinner. Okay? So, okay, any questions on only planning 5 meals a week? Only 5 meals. 5 meals planned, leftover night, family, friends night, or date night. Does that make sense? Make sense? What do you pack for kids' lunches? Okay, big pot of beans and rice for the week. Yum! And you guys, I just saw a delicious recipe online that I'm really excited to talk about. Awesome, great suggestions. I like the idea of only doing 5 meals a week. Yes, Melissa, totally. Do you like Blue Apron or those type of companies? Well, funny you asked that. I've been doing HelloFresh this week. I have a review. If you go to penniesintopearls.com and just search HelloFresh, there's like a Frugal Girls review of HelloFresh. It's expensive, right? But if you can find a discount, a lot of times you'll get email discounts. I have a coupon code. If you use my link in my Instagram highlights, go to HelloFresh highlight. In there, there'll be links, and if you use my link, I think you get $40 off of your first order. And so in that case, it's totally worth it. But go to that review, and in that review, I explain the 3 occasions that I think a meal subscription plan is worth the money. And sometimes it actually will save you money. I love HelloFresh. Me too. The chicken curry is so yummy. I haven't tried chicken curry yet. Okay, if you have questions about the 5 meals a week, put it in the comments. I'll take a look here in a second. So let's talk about breakfast and lunch. Breakfast and lunch, if you see any of my monthly meal plans, at the bottom of my meal plan, which it's, again, there's a blank template that you can download, and then monthly I have our exact family's meal plan with links to the recipes, and then also links to the recipes. And then down at the bottom, it talks about what we plan for breakfast and lunch. And our breakfasts and lunches are pretty standard. I either do like freezer sandwiches, we do bagel and cream cheese a lot, quesadillas, leftovers. Kids' lunches, sometimes I'll even do leftovers in Kennedy's lunch. Depending on what it is, I can wrap it up just in foil, and it will stay warm until her lunchtime. I second this question. Do you look at the sale flyers and plan meals according to sales, or plan menu first, then shop according? Great question, great question. Okay, just a sec. So breakfast and lunch. So, then I'll put leftovers in foil. And I really want to get one of those like thermos things that you can put hot stuff in. So a lot of times I'll even do chicken nuggets, heat them up, put them in there. Today we did rolled tacos for Kennedy. So I will do all of that type of stuff in there. And then breakfast, a lot of times we do cereals, eggs and toast, yogurt and fruit, and oatmeal. Those are kind of like our go-to for the week, and I try to mix it up. Oh, and homemade muffins, that's another thing. Okay, great question about what recipes to choose. So I always say, number 1, choose recipes that use meat as a side attraction, because meat is going to probably be the most expensive part of your meal. By the way, I don't know how you do grocery hauls with kids. It's hard to think and follow grocery list with my babies. Oh yeah, it's not ideal, but we just get it done, and I'm really excited about all the grocery stores starting to do pickup. I need more stores in our area to do pickup. If I could just do it and then go pick it up at the store, that would be awesome. I know Costco in some areas are doing it. What stores do you guys do grocery pickup? List them down below so everyone can see. How would you meal plan dinners for a couple who can't dinner together most nights, have different work schedules? Oh, that's what we do. You should go look at our monthly meal plans. If you go to penniesanderpearls.com, fabulous food, I think, is the category, and then meal plans. Look at all of them. For the last 3 years, hubby has been working. He just changed, which is awesome, but he was working nights, and so the kids and I had dinner at separate times than him at 4 nights a week. That's how it was. And it just worked. So like I would make dinner for me and the kids, and then he just would either heat it up when he got home, or because he was working like graves, like he would get home at like 4 a.m. in the morning, he would eat last night's dinner for today's dinner. Does that make sense? So he was 1 day off. He'd have to reheat it. Not ideal, but that's the way it worked. To be able to take advantage of sales, this is what I do. So first you shop your pantry, fridge, and freezer. No matter what type of meal planning, monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, shop there first. What do you have already in your house? That's where you stop. This is so fun. I love it. Yes, me too. I love it too. So that's where you first start. And then what I'll do, so I do monthly, but this will all apply no matter how you do it. So you first start in your home. Then I take a look at the sales. I will go to, I only pick, well, monthly shopping's a little bit different, but because I'm doing monthly, I only pick 2 stores to shop at. Usually I shop at Target and Costco for my big grocery hauls. And then my weekly $25 budget for fresh produce and milk, I will shop at Sprouts. I'm trying to find somewhere closer because now it's like 30 minutes away, which isn't a huge deal, but I'm trying to find, but Sprouts is just so affordable, it's worth the drive. Okay, so I will shop the sales after I shop my pantry. Then if you're doing monthly meal planning, I still shop the sales, and this is how I do it. I shop the sales for my big monthly grocery haul, try to plan my shopping trips around the sales cycles at Costco. And then what I do is I have a $40 couponing budget. Now a lot of people are like, oh, well that counts towards your monthly grocery haul because you use it for food, but it's not true. I don't always use it on food, and sometimes I'll use part of it on food. It just depends. And sometimes our couponing budget, I won't spend all of it, so I'll have extra or I'll have less. So it just kind of depends. But the way I use my couponing budget is I look and keep an eye on all of the sales throughout the month. So if I see a really good deal, usually on meat is what I'm looking for, and sometimes non-perishables like granola bars and cereals that we use for snacks, I use that $40 budget. That's not very much, but if you're shopping sales, it can get you pretty far. So I will shop meat. So if you pay attention in my monthly grocery hauls, I usually don't buy that much meat. Usually I either buy chicken or ground beef, but we still eat meat if you see my meal plans. So a lot of times I'll buy roasts and ribs, that kind of thing, when it's on sale with my couponing budget. If you shop your pantry and the food in your house, do you maintain any kind of food storage? Does that make sense? Totally makes sense, and that's a great question. I'm not good at food storage. I'm not good, and I forget about food storage all the time. I've been wanting to try out one of those food storage like stock up things where you spend an extra like $5 a week to buy like flour or sugar or like, you know, and then by the end of the year, you have a year's worth of food storage. I've been wanting to try that, but I'm just not that great. But my plan is in the future to have that separate. So if I'm shopping my pantry and my fridge and my freezer first, my food storage food is going to be separate from that food that we're shopping from at home. My friend told me to go to Sprouts on Wednesdays. Yes, because Sprouts, it's double ads on Wednesday. It's the best day to go. It's the busiest day to go, but it's the best. If you go to my meal planning on a budget toolkit, let me take a look here. Key to making sure that you are sticking to your budget is to have a grocery list. You have to have a grocery list. And if you've already surveyed and shopped your pantry, this part doesn't get too complicated. And trying to make sure that you're selecting meals that have similar ingredients is also gonna help you save money as well. So on my grocery list, I always do a list of all the items that we need. If you're doing monthly, I keep a running total of things that we've ran out of. So then you do your items of what you're buying, and then next to each item, I write down how much I think it's gonna cost. I loved getting cheese from Sam's, but I noticed that that was really all I was getting. And I didn't think, sorry you guys, I can't read that far. I didn't think it was worth it. I'm not sure when to buy in bulk or why. I know that may sound strange. No, it's not. And guess what? Zaycon meal plan, totally. I'm so excited to start Zaycon. Guess what? I'm doing a collaboration with somebody super cute and fun. And we are going to show you guys what is in our freezer and give you ideas on different types of things that you can buy in bulk that will freeze, and you can save them for months and months and months. So that's coming soon. I'm really excited. There's a lot of information that goes into this. Probably needed to break this into a couple different parts. Why didn't that record? Didn't it say 27 minutes? Now I'm frustrated. Anyways, so each item on your grocery list, you need to write out your estimated cost. Then, when your grocery list is done, you total out your estimated cost. This has happened to me so many times. You total your estimated cost and it's more than you have budgeted. So what can you do? What do you do when you start to go over budget? The thing that I do is first I start going through the list and see if there's anything I can sub out that, that I don't necessarily need to do. An example would maybe be if I had a recipe like spaghetti. If I had a recipe like spaghetti and I wanted to use sausage, so I wrote sausage down. Well, sausage is a lot more expensive usually than ground beef. So maybe I already have a bunch of ground beef in my freezer. I'm just gonna cross off sausage from my grocery list, and I'm just gonna replace it with some ground beef that I already have at home. Or maybe I need to get really desperate and I wanted to buy like a loaf of like French bread or something. So that's only $2, but these things add up, especially when you only have a $25 weekly budget or you only have a $400 monthly budget. These things add up a lot. So I'm crossing off bread and I'm just gonna make like at-home loaves of bread, or maybe at-home rolls, or something where I already have the ingredients at home, or something that I can substitute with something similar but less expensive. So sometimes I've had recipes where it called for like sun-dried tomatoes, but in my grocery list, that just put it over the top and I didn't have enough money left in my budget to cover that. So I just crossed it off and I can just leave sun-dried tomatoes out. It's not gonna be as delicious and yummy, but it's still gonna work. You might be better off sticking, oh, it went up. Oh no, okay, let's see. Might be better off sticking up in sales at regular stores at the best price. I need to start this so bad. Yes, we're spending around $900 a month on food. It's a lot of people are, and a lot of people don't realize how much money you guys are. Okay, here's a challenge for you guys. Everyone, pay attention. Here's a challenge for you. Okay, if you aren't already doing this, start tracking your spending. And the cheapest and easiest way that I found, and maybe just because I started off this way, but you can use apps. There's so many apps out there, but I've used mint.com, and it tracks your spending and you can categorize it. Then see how much money you're actually spending on food. This isn't just groceries. This is eating out. This is the pit stops at the at getting drinks on the way to work. This is stopping at the gas station getting snacks. If your grocery store has the option to shop online and have it picked up or delivered, put the items in your cart and you know the total. Yes, I use it all the time for products. I'm not sure the price. So smart, okay? So that is like the biggest thing is $300 monthly for a family of 3. That is really good, good job. It takes a lot of work. Yes, it does take work, but you're saving thousands of dollars a year. What would you do with an extra thousands of dollars a year? I mean, it's not just $1,000 that we saved, it's thousands of dollars. And that's one of the things I attribute to us being able to start getting out of debt. We paid off all our debt over a year ago. in our first year of being out of debt, we were, sorry, I feel like I have, I feel like I have lipstick on my teeth. Our first year that we were out of debt, we were able to go on an amazing vacation to Costa Rica, hubby and I, and we saved enough money to purchase our first house. Yes! Being debt-free is amazing. That should be another video we do. Okay, so then to bump up, once you have started weekly meal planning and you feel like you're kind of in a flow, you know which recipes your families are doing, you're kind of figuring out what recipes are less expensive that your family likes to eat, bump it up to 2 weeks at a time. Like Michelle was saying, you bump it up to 2 weeks and start planning 2 weeks at a time. And then once you feel comfortable with 2 weeks at a time, bump it up to monthly meal planning. I love monthly meal planning. It goes in one and out the other, rather have the kitchen. Nice vacation. Following along for the house stuff was so inspiring. Thank you. It's so doable when you are out of debt. It's amazing. 130 would be near impossible. Could you cut somewhere else? Explain that question a little bit better. I'll come back to it. I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. Sorry. Okay, so with monthly meal planning, this will have to be the last thing we talk about. And then if there's any questions we didn't answer, go back to my last Instagram post when this is over and leave them there, and then I'll try to answer a couple on stories maybe tomorrow. Okay, so then if we bump up to monthly meal planning, she has $130 a month for a family of 3. Oh yeah, $130 a month. Yeah, that's pretty low. If you can do $130 a month, that's amazing. That's really awesome. I thought it said $300 a month for a family of 3. Yes, try 100 per family member. That is a good rule of thumb, I think, especially when your kids are a little older. I think we're able to get away with a little bit less because our kids are younger. So when it comes to monthly meal planning, you just plan out the same way as you did with weekly, 5 meals per week. But then what I do is I make 2 separate grocery lists. And this is where the meal planning on a budget toolkit comes into play. So I have one master grocery list, and this is where I do our big monthly grocery hauls, where we share the grocery haul every single month on YouTube and on the blog. And those are all of the non-perishable foods or the foods that can be frozen. Does that make sense? So like canned goods, breads, you can freeze breads, anything that goes in the freezer. What else? Anything that can sit on the shelf for a month. That's what we buy in our big monthly grocery haul. But then, can you guys see this? YouTube, can you guys see this? Right next to the, each week we have the 5 meal ideas over here. Then in this column over here is where I write out what fresh produce I need for that week. So not only am I doing my big monthly grocery haul planning, I do my weekly grocery hauls, but my grocery list is already made out for me. So it literally, I just take a picture of what I need for that week on my phone, take it to me with the grocery store. Even with kids in tow, I'm in and out of the store within 15, 20 minutes, depending on how long the line it is, because I'm not buying that many things. I already know exactly what I need to buy, and I already know exactly how much money to expect to pay, because also under my fresh grocery list, I'm totaling how much I'm expecting to pay for that week. So week 1, I have 5 recipes and what fresh produce I need to do. So as I'm writing out my meal plans, if I'm writing tacos in week 1, I'm writing fresh groceries would be like tortilla shells, lettuce, avocado, not tomatoes because we don't eat tomatoes, but maybe you do. I'm writing out the fresh produce. And then probably the only thing that I put in my big monthly grocery list over here would be like ground beef or chicken or whatever meat I'm gonna buy in my big monthly grocery haul. Okay, does that make sense? And then I also write out ideas for lunches and breakfasts down here. And I just work anything fresh that I have to buy off of that for the breakfast and lunch into my weekly fresh produce grocery haul. Okay. Woo! I think we covered a lot. Okay, let's do a couple minutes of questions. and I'm so excited about our first weekly live video. So fun, so fun. I'm so excited about it. Okay, the $25 per week for fresh produce is brilliant. Oh, I love it. And you can really stretch it really far depending on where you live. And you have to plan off of what is in season in your area, because I mean, we're spoiled in San Diego, but you just have to plan off of what's in season in your area, because that's what's going to be cheapest. Add in quick and easy lazy meal substitutes listed for each week instead of one of your planned meals is a great way to avoid takeout and stay on budget. Great idea. How do you deal with picky eaters? I kind of touched this before, so when this closes, rewatch the beginning of the live video. Yes, you're gonna do them on a regular schedule. What days do you bake and meal prep? I really don't do a ton of meal prep. I really don't. Baking, I do a lot of baking, so we do lots of baking for breakfast and like treats and snacks. And I just do it when I have time. I don't have a day specified for that right now. For organic and grass-fed meats, how much do you consider will be okay for family member? I'm not a great resource for that because we don't eat organic and we don't eat, like I'm not specific to any of those regulations, but I do know that stores like Sprouts are really great prices for those things. And then also Costco. Costco has really great quality meats. The prices are going to be a little bit higher than other stores, but the quality you're getting is better. And then Zaycon Fresh, they have really great meat as well. So I've read. I'm trying out for the first time, and I've talked to my friends. I came late to the party, but looking forward to the lives. You're one of my fave Instagrammers. Thank you. That is so nice of you guys. What was I gonna say? I had an idea. Let me look back through these questions. Let's see. Any leftover money you have from groceries you can use for buying bulk meats. That's a great idea. $4.80 for a family of 4 households. That's really great. That's really good. I went from spending $750 a month to spending $100 per week for a family of 4. Yes, good job. That is awesome. So awesome. That's so great. Look at how much money you're saving. That's amazing. That's so good. So good, you guys. Let's see what else. We used to spend over $600 a month plus eating out. So it does work. Yes, it does. Flip app is great. I've heard that before. How much do you suggest grocery budget per person? Our family is $400 per month for a family of 5. We have small kids, but I think as your kids get older, I think $100 per family member is a great way to start your budget. So just pay attention. Start there with $100 per person and kind of use that as your guiding post. And if you're finding every month that you're having like $50 left over consistently, then make that as your new goal to cut your budget by $500. Or you're constantly going over. It's just as important to adjust your budget higher if that's what you need to do. But just remember, money doesn't grow on trees, right? So you have to find somewhere to cut that budget. And a lot of times for us, our most dispensable budget would be our fun budget. So a lot of times if we go over, that's where the budget comes from. It doesn't just come out of debt. No, it doesn't. Okay, let me scroll back to the bottom. Any last questions? And I will answer those. Fun! I agree. It was so fun. You guys, thank you so much. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you guys are all on here. Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you so much for all your nice comments. Looking forward to next Thursday. Me too, you guys. Thank you. I can't express thank yous enough. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting. I know Instagram's kind of weird right now. Most social medias are, but the point is if you like somebody and you want to see more of their stuff in your feed, if you hit that heart button, if you leave comments, and if you're sharing, that's the best way to show Instagram or Facebook or whoever, YouTube, that you like this account and that you want to see more of it. So that's the best way to do it. So you guys, again, here's the pin to that free meal planning on a budget toolkit. Also, that link is going to give you guys more information on how I do our family meal planning.